Hey, good morning. I look like a conflicted hunter this morning. I got my blaze orange and kind of a camo hat going. I've gone country. Good morning. Happy Monday. I didn't realize what I would look like wearing this combo. Here we go. What's up? Happy Monday. But I wanted to represent. I wanted to represent the Chicago Bears last night. Fun game. I didn't watch. I had it on in the background during my stream, but I kept looking back and it's like, oh, wow. 14-0, 21-0, 28-0, 38-0. I know it's preseason. Don't get excited about preseason football. But it was it was at least fun to kind of watch from the background. So I walked in this morning. We got the cleaners coming today, which I mentioned yesterday. I need to get ready. Now, when I do eBay live streams, especially when I do 2 in a day, this room just gets demolished you can't even see the worst part. You can't even see, which is like right next to me as I'm pulling cards. And so I did not get any of that done. I've got to get the rec room picked up. So that's first thing on the agenda. I want to clean before I start shipping for the day, which means I probably won't have. I thought about doing a pop-up blitz sale this afternoon. We'll see. There's not much action on eBay Live today. I think I looked. There's only 9 streams today in the sports cards category. But Mondays really suck, and I kind of know why, because people are spending their money on the weekends on eBay Live. And they sure were last night. It was a great stream. Yesterday afternoon was a good stream too. We'll talk about that. What else is going on? So yesterday I think I just shipped and then did my live streams. So I went to Walmart, and this is kind of going to go hand in hand with my eBay live stream. So I went to Walmart. I had to go to Walmart. I sold a couple binders that need to get shipped. And so I didn't have any boxes. My boxes are either too small or too big. So I didn't have any medium-sized boxes. I hate buying boxes like onesie twosies, but I mean, sometimes you got to do it. So I made a Walmart run between eBay live streams yesterday, and I'm like, I'm gonna go check out the card section. I'm gonna go check out the card section and see what they have. And this is the Walmart that I go to has like the shittiest card selection of all the retail stores here in Madison. But they had they had the Score a Treat. Now, I only saw one dealer selling 2025 football. Now there's only Score a Treat, and I think Donruss just came out. So there's really hardly any 2025 football out to begin with. So I'm like, you know what? I've had a lot of people asking about some of the rookie class from 2025. I'm going to pick up a Score a Treat box. And the Score a Treat are the shitty cards that you give out at Halloween. Shouldn't have much resale value. $20 a box. I think after tax, like $21, $22. So I came home. I got my boxes. I came home. I ripped them. It's a pain in the ass because there's like 40 packs, 3 cards a pack. But I also don't like ripping one pack of like 50 cards either. I like a little bit, like I want to chase it a little bit, but not 40 packs with 3 cards in each. Anyway, so I set aside some of the rookies and the better stuff. So again, $20 for a box of these. The Travis Hunter sold for, I think, $24. The Travis Hunter. One card from Score a Treat sold for $24 last night. I don't know if Sunflower is in here, but he's like, you already paid for your box. Something else sold for 20. Another one of the other top players in it wasn't Ashton Genty or it wasn't who's the other one? Shedeur Sanders. It wasn't any of those guys. And I ended up and I was selling like random guys, like a Mecca Egbuka sold for $6. So I probably at least doubled my money on that Score a Treat. Now, am I going to go out and buy another one? Not unless I go to Walmart. If I go to Walmart, I see it. Yeah. So that was fun. It's always fun when things sell. This weekend, Saturday. So I will have eBay live streams leading up to Saturday's event, but Saturday we're having an event, which I also need to get prepared for. It's going to be a wax weekend. We did really well selling wax. I sold a 1990 score football pack for $23 last night. Now I'm issuing a refund because all the corners were bad. It was a shitty pack anyway, but the corners were bad. So we're going to issue a refund, but it still sold for $23. 90 action packed was selling for like 20, 25, somewhere in that. And this was from my pickups in Janesville. I think I bought, what did I buy? I bought 80 packs for $75. I made my money back selling either 4 or 5 packs last night because I had a couple sell for excess of $20. The rest of them sold for like 15. So that was a good buy. So Saturday, this coming Saturday, 7 p.m. Central, wax weekend. I've got 89. I've got the inaugural action packed when it was in regional issues. So the packs I have, you get Bears, Redskins, Giants. So you know kind of who you have a potential to get. 90 action packed, which is a wide range. I've got 89 Pro set. I think that's another pack that sold for in excess of $20. I think that might have sold for like 25. So we're gonna do wax weekend. I have I even have hockey packs, baseball packs. So that's gonna be this Saturday. I've still got 80 Tops baseball packs. I think the 80 Tops pack went for like 45. I don't understand. 90 score football, which you get for $1, sold for 23. And a 80 Tops, which regularly sells for 75, sells for 45. I don't understand it. So we'll auction off a bunch of packs this Saturday on eBay Live. So again, I thought about popping in for just a quick 100 auction stream this afternoon. I probably won't, but you never know. If I do, it's a pop-up. There's no other streams in the afternoon. So maybe just to capture some type of audience. Audiences are down on Monday. Sales certainly won't be. It would be very not depressing, but it would be a much different result than yesterday and last night. But still, if I can move some dollar cards for $3 to $5. Ernie woke me up twice this morning. I wanted to sleep in. My eBay live stream last night went past 11 o'clock. It was almost 11:30. When we wrapped up last night's live stream. I went 200 auctions. I was going to do more, but it's almost 11:30. The room was basically cut in half from its peak. But I last night, my audience was one of the highest audiences in terms of concurrent viewers. I don't think I hit 100 at the same time, but I was very close to hitting 100 concurrent viewers. I think I have hit 100 in a stream. I think one of the early ones where I had like 7,000 in the room total. Now that's total. So if you exit and come back in, that registers as a new view. So when you see that view in the corner, that doesn't mean how many people are in the room at one time. So it's a much different number. So yeah, that's a little eBay live talk. My numbers on eBay now 250% year over year. My goal was 40% growth. My net sales, my net sales have almost reached my total gross sales for the entire year of 2024. So eBay Live has been very, very good to me. Quantity sold up 20%. My fixed price, I haven't even been listing anything on fixed price. Obviously, that's down. We're down 42% on that. Although I did sell an autographed baseball yesterday. Sold a Jerome Walton signed baseball for $18. I was happy. Took an offer. Yeah, sold. Let's see where we at. Let's go in and say hello to the chat. Happy Monday. Gem City Card Show. What's going on? Good morning. Kevin, what's happening? Get her done. Get her done. That was like that was a big saying because that was who's Larry the Cable Guy. That was the theme. So don't you love when your friends like, I made that joke up? No, they're the first person in your small town that said that joke, and they saw it on TV. So we were in college when Get Her Done was all the rage. And it was from Larry the Cable Guy. Now, before "Get Her Done" went like super viral and it became a household saying, I had a friend of mine that always said "Get her done," and that was like his his quote. Then all of a sudden, "Get Her Done" gets, people are watching Larry the Cable Guy. So our local high school football team, that was their 2000. I don't know what year was that, 2001, 2002, somewhere in there. So their theme for the year for that season was "Get Her Done." And one of my friends, not the one who always said it, but another friend, and he was the guy in all through school. "That's my joke. You can't say that." No, like, you didn't write that fucking joke. You saw it on TV, and you're the first person in our class that said it. That doesn't give you ownership to that joke. So he's like, that's our saying. Derek started saying that first. It's like, no, Larry the Cable Guy started saying it first, and probably he probably picked it up from dude in his small town. Probably said "Get her done," and Larry the Cable Guy's like, "Get her done. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna wear my Raleigh Tavern hat, my Blaze Orange. I'm gonna say "Get her done." And so "Get Her Done." I love it. Brings back memories of my friend stupidly claiming jokes that weren't his. That's my joke. No, it's not. It's Larry the Cable Guy's. All right, where are we at? Kyle, what's happening? Good morning. Listening while on a short business road trip. Love it. Zach says, are you wearing the hat because you were broadcasting, or would you be wearing it at home with no one around? I don't find myself wearing a hat around the house. No, I am only wearing the hat because I'm broadcasting. If I was not on video, I would not be wearing a hat. The only time I wear a hat around the house is if I'm getting ready to go somewhere, or if I'm like in and out and it's just like I know I'm going to be leaving the house. I need a haircut. The only reason I'm wearing a hat is because I need a haircut. So, and a haircut is just not a priority right now. eBay Live is my priority right now, not a haircut. So that's why we're going to represent the Riley Tavern, which, by the way, if you're ever in the Madison area, check out the Riley Tavern. This is not a paid promotional ad. I haven't even been there this year, but I've been there in the past. I did hear they have new owners, and the pizza's not as good as it used to be. So, but that's just hearsay. I cannot claim that to be true or false. No, I haven't been to the Riley Tavern this summer. I haven't rode my e-bike this summer. I have used my fishing pole once. Pond's really high. And I haven't weeded my strip down to the pond either, but it's so high that it's not really worth it. And it's August 18th. I think I'm just done. I'm done. And then they mowed which they didn't do that they waited until like the fall to mow. They did a mow in the midsummer. I don't know if that was because it rained so much and the weeds grew too high. Maybe there's like a limit. They're like, oh, the weeds are 6 feet tall. We have to mow. I don't know. Peter's in the house. Happy Monday. What's going on? Offbeat All-Stars. What's happening? Got a job offer. Congratulations. The most stressful summer of my life is over. Well, welcome back. Gem City says, my good friend used to do pop-ups whenever he could on Whatnot. Even if prices suck, your brand awareness goes up. Absolutely. And you do make money. Like, I'm not going to throw $100 slabs on a pop-up show. I'm going to throw 25-cent dollar box cards. It's like, well, I got a quarter into this. If I sell it for $1, awesome. If I sell this dollar card for $2, $3, great. If it only sells for $1, that's okay, because the next one will sell for $3 or $4. So and I just want to I want to inundate eBay Live with me. So people, brand awareness. So people know, hey, he's got awesome stuff. So Book World, what's going on? Is Car Dealer Pro going to survive with Greg Morris going to list easier? Is Car Dealer Pro going to survive? Yes. I didn't know Greg. I don't even know Listy. Did somebody come in and are you a bot for List Easier? I don't even know what List Easier is. So yeah, Car Dealer Pro is still. I was talking to a guy at the show, and he started using Chronazio, and I use, and I told him, I told him the same thing I'm going to say now. I tried Chronazio a few times over the years, and it was just too clunky. And I know some people say that about Cardi the Pro. I've never found Cardi the Pro to be clunky outside of just the glitches and when it goes down. That's clunky. But in terms of actual when it's working without being down, that's when I found it to be super easy. I think Cardi the Pro for people that are not tech savvy, Cardi the Pro over Chronazio, 100%. If you are tech savvy and you know shortcuts and all the things words that I don't even know what they mean, use Chronazio because it's more advanced. It's I think Chronazio is better for the more techie person. So, and honestly, I can't speak to List Easier. I don't know anything about it. If I were to use anything, it would be Cardi the Pro. And by the way, you can get 500 free scans by signing up using promo code CUBS, CUBS. Go to cardythepro.com. I haven't been using Cardi the Pro because now I can actually get my listings done through eBay Live's backend, which has saved me a ton of time. Not a ton of time, but it saves the headache. It saves me from doing math. I don't have to click a bunch of times. Now, it only took me a couple minutes to go through Cardi the Pro, get the spreadsheet, upload it, download it, copy and paste, all that. But it was just time consuming. And it's like, it was holding me back from scheduling. Now I can schedule. I mean, I don't know if I've ever scheduled a week out, and I scheduled the wax weekend. It's like, oh, just get a thumbnail. That's the only thing holding me back now is getting a proper thumbnail created and uploading, and then everything else is cake. So, all right, where are we at? Gem City says, also random thought, do accounts with face cams do better than single cam setups? I don't know. And here's my thought behind it. I'm going to play devil's advocate on this with myself. Single cam, I like single cam because the focus is on the card and you are buying the card. Like, you're in there to buy cards. Now, you're also in there to be entertained. Like, I turned on 2 streams yesterday afternoon. I'm like, this is my competition. One guy, nothing on the screen, dead air for 2 minutes. And then every once in a while, he'd say, all right, guys, let me know what you want. Just let me know. That's it. It's like, this sucks. Like, there's a lot of people that are begging to get on eBay Live that would be 1,000 times better than this guy. And then another one was he just kept rerunning. And I think it was a buy it now. He just kept rerunning it. And I'm like, so that was my competition yesterday afternoon. I'm like, Jesus, this is brutal. So there is an entertainment value there. Like, if it's entertaining and I'm just like, I just want some background stuff, like, oh, hey, this streamer's actually pretty entertaining, I'll watch it. I might not bid on anything, but I'm going to spend some time in the room, and that helps with the algorithm and the analytics on the back end for eBay or whatnot, or whatever live stream platform you're using. So I think the face cam with single cam, it works because you can see the seller. And I think people like that. They like to know who they're buying from. I don't have a face cam. You want to see my face? You get an hour of it every day right here on Hobby Evolution. I'm not tech savvy, so I don't know how to set that up. You have to do, I know through eBay, you have to use some like third-party camera setup. And I know the breakers, they were all familiar with it. And they're like, oh yeah, we use it. Like, when I was on the call with Baseball Card Exchange, they're like, yeah, that's what we use. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't want to use that because I don't know how. So we're just going to do single cam. So, and so it's devil's advocate. Like, is one better than the other? I don't necessarily think so. My thought process is single cam because you're focused on the card. That's what people are buying, especially when you're dealing with cards. Like, you can get a better look at the condition of the card. Now, I also use the single cam because I don't know how to use the multicam. If I knew how to use the multicam, maybe I would put myself in a small screen if I knew how to do it. So I don't know if there's any analytics behind, can multicam, does it draw in more? Because then you're starting to go through the weeds like, well, they also have this many people in the room. this audience. They're selling this. I don't know. It's interesting. I guess the only way to find out is would be to like test it out myself. And I don't know how. Jody, what's going on? Good morning. Uncle Rich in the house. Thrift Books. We got some booksellers in the house. Thrift says GMC is big, but not big enough to sink CDP. CDP needs to embrace AI very soon, though. There you go. Offbeat says, I'll be the wine and spirits manager at Hy-Vee. Not thrilled to be back in retail, but I'll have final say of scheduling, and the money will be more than enough to take care of the bills. Nice. Very nice. Which location? I wish Hy-Vee was closer. Now, the closest Hy-Vee to me is over on Whitney Way, and which is probably 10 minutes. Yeah, probably 10 minutes from my house. And it's like 10 minutes is really nothing in a city. But I got Aldi, which is 5 minutes. And yeah, is Aldi 5 minutes? Hy-Vee might be more than 10. Maybe it's 12 minutes to Hy-Vee. No, it can't be 12 minutes. It's 12 minutes to the Sheraton, or the Madison Marriott South, as it's now called. So maybe it is 10 minutes. Maybe I'm just shitty with time. Gem City says, well, first to market matters, score a treat or not. That's very true. That is absolutely true. Even if it's going to be a mass-produced product, if you're first on the market or early on the market, it's good to go. Unicorn says, congrats, Brian. Hope it works well for you. Gem City also says congratulations. CDP is not great, so I can see others jumping ship. I think it's awesome. I mean, I haven't had any issues outside of it being down every once in a while. No, I haven't used it in 2 months, 3 months, but I'm just not listing buy it now items anymore. Orlando, what's going on? Good morning. Cooter's in the house. Good morning. Unicorn says eBay Live equals Bitcoin. Offbeat says, thanks, Unicorn and Gem City. It's such a relief. I can't believe how excited I am to work weekends. Should be fun to talk booze all day. There you go. Zach says the 1990 Score football pack for that price is more than likely the most egregious act you've done so far. That is by far the best example of an uneducated, addicted audience. Hey, but I am issuing a refund because the corners were damaged. So there you go. Gem City says, I know so many who have built wonderful careers at Hy-Vee, and they typically carry cards. Hy-Vee carries cards? Well, shit, I'll start going to Hy-Vee. I hope you get that discount. Yeah, Hy-Vee's a great place to work. This is, I won't go, a family member. I won't, technically it's not really, it's family. Not blood though. But I'll just say a cousin's wife has been in management at Hy-Vee for several years, decades, I think. And she loves it. Let's see. A grocery discount in this economy is basically a raise. In this economy? Gem City says, books, I hate to tell you this, but Bo doesn't read books. Right? Offbeat says it would be great. Orlando says 250% over. Bo is killing it on eBay. It's been crazy. eBay Live has been a game changer. Let's see. Where are we at? Thank you, Book World. Laughing at Gem. Kevin says, Larry the Cable Guy was all the rage around 2004, 2006 in North Carolina. I was in high school. Every FFA member said that 24/7. Hell yeah. Get her done. Unicorn says, Bo bought a book from me. Not sure he has read it, though. Yes, I have. I bought the, Uncle Rich will tell me. It's the, so I bought the reprint of the Encyclopedia of Baseball. Who's the author? Larry. Oh my gosh. Uncle Rich is typing it right now. I can feel it. But it was the combined into three. And yes, I haven't read it cover to cover, but I have looked it up. I've got a friend who's big into pre-war, and I think he ended up buying the copies. I don't know if he bought the originals or the same one I got. Zach says, I started that wave. Did you see that? Unicorn says, TBF, it is more of a reference book. Yeah, absolutely. Offbeat says, I wear hats around the house all the time. I am still 12 years old. Boston Smokes here. What's up? Good morning. Gem City says, I sent a book to Bo. It's also more of a reference, and I don't think he read it yet. I'll get to it maybe tomorrow. The book that Brian said, I'll get it to maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, but I'll get to it. Zach says, I came up with, you might be a redneck. I did it first. Zach says, congrats on the gig, Born. Thanks, Zach. Kevin says, list easier, $69 a month for 1,000 listings. I can knock out 1,000 listings in a day. F that. Ooh, yeah, that's what, 7 cents a listing? List smarter, not easier. Holy shit. Cardi the Pro's like a penny. You buy the listings, it's what, a penny a listing? Gem City says, preach, entertainment value is what drives prices. Probably OBS. Is that like IBS? Dan says, hey. Started watching Dexter Resurrection. How is it? What do you think? I've not watched it yet. We cut the cord on some of the various platforms that we basically, what we do, and we do this like we purge our streaming platforms when there's nothing on. It's like, we're just going to cancel this until we need it. Like I canceled my ESPN Disney bundle because, which also included Hulu, because I was only using it for college basketball. So we're coming up on college basketball season. And there's actually a couple things on Hulu. I may reinstate that soon because there are a couple things on Hulu I want to watch. We cut HBO Max or whatever that is. But I think, is Dexter Showtime? I don't know if I think we had Showtime originally for Dexter. But let me know how it is. Offbeat says, I'll be at Whitney. Awesome. Come talk domestics anytime. There you go. Zach says, single camera is the way to go, but if you need any technical advice, ask Klein. He's done wonders on Hobby Hotline for years working that single cam. Bookworld says to Kevin, we are doing 10,000 cards a day at 3 cents per card. It is pricey, but quick anyway. This is my first foray into cards. Max says, I don't think I have ever set foot in a Hy-Vee. There's a helpful smile in every aisle. Hy-Vee's awesome. I love Hy-Vee. Do you have Hy-Vee where you're at? I love Hy-Vee. If Hy-Vee were closer, it would definitely be my grocery store of choice. Lipsit. Thank you. Lipsit. Rich Klein. He was just a little slow to type. Max says, Larry Page. The Cable Guy. I'm downloading episode season 1, 2 through 7. We'll plan to watch all of it. It is showtime. Max says no. Max says that's an awful slogan. Don't want to be bothered shopping. Well, they don't bother you. They only smile if you make eye contact. Rich says we do not have Hy-Vee in DFW. I think is it Midwest? Is Hy-Vee Midwest? Rich was focused on working. There is a helpful smile. The Hy-Vee meat section, great meat section at Hy-Vee, and plenty of variety. I like Hy-Vee. Good prices. Helpful smiles. Dexter Resurrection premiered on Paramount Plus with Showtime. All right. I don't know if that's something. I don't know if it's enough to like get me to subscribe. Max says probably just another grocery store. Oh, it is. They're all grocery stores, but they are like when you compare grocery store to grocery store, they do all basically come from the same place, but not every grocery store has the same stuff. Like Metro Market is very limited. Like that's my closest grocery store, but they have a limited selection. Aldi, I love Aldi, but they have a limited selection. Hy-Vee has everything I need. Like Woodman's, but I don't like going to Woodman's because it's gigantic and it takes me an hour and a half to go through the entire store. Did you watch the original Dexter? Yes, I loved it. I've actually watched the entire series Dexter, the original Dexter, like 3 or 4 times over. Zach says, Bo is talking pretty proudly about a grocery store that he says it's too far away, 10 minutes. If you like it this much, go there. I know, I should, right? Examine Baseball says, we do Whole Foods out here. That's a whole paycheck. Whole Foods is not my jam. Whole Foods not my jam. I do love Trader Joe's though. Dan says Dexter New Blood was the second series. I don't think I watched that one either. Here I am, a huge Dexter fan, and I haven't watched any of the follow-ups. Bazero, what's going on? Don't have a Hy-Vee here in Houston, but sounds like our HEB. Yeah, it's basically a big grocery store. It's like any other chain grocery store. And I'm not saying it's the best grocery store in the world. I'm saying it's the best grocery store of the options I have in Madison, Wisconsin. It's better than Metro Market. It's better than Woodman's. It's better than, what's the other one? There's one other grocery store we have here. I think it's on the east side. We don't have one here on the west side. It's on the east side. It's right on East Wash. I can't think of it. Brian will know. What the hell's that? Festival. I think we have one in Verona also. We don't have a Piggly Wiggly. I think there's one in Sauk City, just to the north. Dan says it's worth watching. Max says, I figured it would take you a while. I'm not a shopper. Get in, get out. I agree. Buy the shit you came for and leave. That's how I am. That's why I don't like Woodman's. It takes you forever to get through the whole store. They have everything you want, but it's also 3 square miles. Unicorn says, I'm still on that Piggly Wiggly and Pick and Save. Festival Foods if I want pre-made food. So Metro Market used to be Pick and Save. Our local store is now called Metro Market. It was Cops. They've changed 3 times in the last 5 years. It was Cops, and then it changed to Pick and Save, and now it's Metro Market. Offbeat says, my son's name is Dexter. My wife and I get asked all the time if we named him after the show. Yes, we want him to become a good serial killer. Not a bad serial, but a good. He only kills bad guys. No, we did not name him after a fictional serial killer. I love it. Zach and Porter says, Bowl loves Dexter and Hy-Vee grocery stores, yet doesn't do anything with either of them, right? I love Dexter. Have you watched the 2 follow-up series? No. I love Hy-Vee. Never go there. Actually, you know what? I take that back. I get my prescriptions at Hy-Vee, but I go all the way to Fitchburg. I'm trying to get them transferred to Walgreens, which is literally a few blocks down the street. But alas, for some reason, it's not transferring over. So I just suck it up and drive all the way to fucking Fitchburg to Hy-Vee. So I was actually just at Hy-Vee Monday. Wait, what is today? Today's Monday. So I was at Hy-Vee on Friday, I guess. HEB has legendary barbecue as part of their stores. Oh, man, you're down in Texas. You got that good barbecue. Chris says, I shopped at Trader Joe's yesterday for the first time in years. They've got surprisingly good prices. Yeah. And they've got really good stuff. Their coffee is good. I like the Trader Joe's coffee. I get beef jerky. They have some, pineapple salsa is really good. I'm trying to think of what else. They've got a trail mix that I like, which I know it's this is all stuff you can get at various grocery stores. But for whatever reason, I like the Trader Joe's version better. Price probably also is better. Max says Dexter's first couple seasons were great, then went downhill. Maybe the best 2 to 3 seasons of TV ever. I would say after season 4. Season 4 was really, really good. Season 1 was awesome. I think it was 5 and 6. Yeah, I agree. The second half, because there were 8 seasons total. The first half, the first 4 seasons were amazing. Seasons 5 through 8 or 5 through 9 really fell off. There was the cult with the father son, but the father ended up being just a spirit and a hallucination. Spoiler alert. I think that was season 6. That was a shitty season. I think Colin Hanks was the evil guy in that one. Max says, why are you going through the whole store? Because I've got a shop for everything. I mean, I'm not just buying produce. I've got the frozen section and the bread and produce are on opposite sides of the store. So you got to go through the whole fucking store. Rich says they're redoing the Sam's Club by our house, and I had the old layout down pat. Now it's like Bo 3 Mile Jaunt. Yeah, I hate when stores do that. They change where things are at. I used to make fun of my dad for always complaining about Walmart. He never could find anything. They're always moving stuff around. Now I get it. Gem City says, there are worse reasons to name someone something, I suppose. I mean, you could name Adolf. I mean, that would be worse. Examine says, have you tried cost plus drugs online for your prescriptions? I have not. I've never heard of it until now. Dan says, I brought back a bottle of Malort. Oh, God, why? A friend requested it. Why? Passed on the Matt's cookies. You bought Malort over Matt's cookies? Are you insane? What is wrong with you? Malort. And you passed on the Matt's cookies. That's a felony. Can't believe that. Unicorn says, I named my daughter after a country singer, somewhat. Rich says, Bo and I really are doppelgangers. I just switched my prescriptions to Walgreens. I was initially a Walgreens guy, and then Hy-Vee was like half as much. Now Hy-Vee raised the prices. Now I want to go back to Walgreens. We lived 2 miles closer to that particular store. I was getting my hair cut over there. Now I've switched everything up because I'm 2 miles further north. I get my hair cut somewhere else. There's a Walgreens literally less than a mile from my house. If I really wanted to, I could walk to Walgreens, but I don't want to. So here I am, still puttering all the way out to Fitchburg. Rich says, I'd be impressed if you named her Skeeter. Cost Plus Drugs does mail order and has a lot of prescriptions, much cheaper than pharmacies. Waylena. Just kidding. Paisley. I'm like, Waylena, that's an interesting name. I didn't want to judge. Paisley. I like Paisley. Waylena is an interesting name. Chris says, speaking of coffee, that Rise commercial seems to repeat every 5 minutes. Oh, I'm drinking mine right now. Rise mushroom coffee. Love it. And I actually do drink it. I love Rise coffee, and I do drink it every day, unlike loving Hy-Vee and never shopping there, or loving Dexter and not watching the 2 follow-up series. John Lithgow as the Trinity Killer made season 4. Yes. Season 4, probably my favorite season with John Lithgow, the guy from Third Rock from the Sun. Examine says, Mark Cuban owns Cost Plus Drugs. Oh, I like Mark Cuban. Max says, see, I thought Lithgow's season was possibly the worst in the lineup. Really? Oh, my God. I love that season. That was my favorite. Red Light, good morning. I mean, season 1 was great, but I think I like most seasons 1 in most series. And then it just kind of falls off for me. But Dexter, I really enjoyed the ride for the first 4 seasons. And then season 5 just kind of fell off. I didn't like it. In season 6, I think season 6 was the Colin Hanks hallucination one. And that was probably my least favorite. Max says, Rich, don't you get free drugs yet? You're welcome. Rich says, Walgreens near me have those $4.99 boxes of baseball cards with one hit every 8 boxes and an unopened pack in each box. So it gives me an excuse to go in and be like LRS with his scratch games. There you go. Man, I should buy some of those. I could move those well on eBay Live. Gem City says, this is a classic of a Hobby Evolution episode as any. Love it. It's what we're here for. Just talking about random shit. Prescriptions, grocery stores, and Dexter. Here we are. Gem City says, Rich, I want to see what you get every time. You should start a YouTube channel and do Walgreens box breaks. Like worst 1 through 8, not 1 through 4. Let's see. Dat Dude says, what's up? No idea about your grocery stores out there, but Dexter was a good show. I find it hard to get into reboots. It is. It's so hard to recapture that energy from an original. Rich says, I'm still with commercial insurance through ComC and not on Medicare yet, but I am eligible. There you go. All right, we're 40 minutes in. Where's Bargain Boxer? We got 40 minutes in. Gem City says, favorite serial killer. Go. Well, I mean, that Bundy guy was a charming fella. So I am into true crime. Favorite is kind of a weird, one. I don't know. I've always Bundy, Gacy, And I think Gacy more of the regional aspect of it because it happened so close by. What were some other serial killers that I found interesting? Interesting and fascinating. Better words than favorite. I would agree. Max says Dahmer. Max says, is it bad to say the DC sniper stuff was entertaining? No, it's not bad. So that was fascinating. I was just starting when the DC sniper stuff happened. That was fascinating. Now I know I know that sounds horrible to say, but it was just riveting. Like it's so bizarre, like glamorizing this, but I was just starting in radio. It was my first radio job. And, I just remember seeing the updates. We had Metro Source was the name of our news. So we were not members of the AP at the radio station I was at. And AP was more of a newspaper type thing. Not many radio stations had Associated Press for their newswire. I had it briefly when I first started in Macomb at the radio station for the first 2 years, maybe. We had the AP, and then we went to Metro Source. So Metro Source would have like they had like a special, eventually they had like a special tab because they had like news, and then you could break it down. Well, you broke the tabs down. It was basically like a favorite. You favorited your tab. So here's national sports. Here's Illinois sports. And it only went down to like a statewide basis. So we had national news, we had local news in our tabs. I don't know if I was yet news director at this point. I was like a 19-year-old news director, didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I just fell in it. The job fell into my lap. So the tabs we had, yeah. So anyway, there was a tab that you could actually, instead of actually creating it yourself, Metro Source had a DC sniper tab because there were so many updates. It wasn't just like, here's your 3 updates a day on the DC sniper. It was like, here's the latest in the story. So any big news event, they would create their own section. Now, this is also like 2001, 2002. So it wasn't like social media. It's not like the internet today. I mean, shit, we're talking almost 25 years ago. So much different times. Gem City says, Max keeping it local. There you go. Ed Gein, there you go. The inspiration for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Only in the like skin mask though. Ed Gein did not go around with a chainsaw chopping random college kids up. Rich Klein says the dating game serial killer Rodney Alcala. Rodney Alcala. Yeah, that's an interesting one. There was actually a documentary recently on one of the streaming platforms about, I think it was on Netflix. The Dating Game Killer, I think, was the name of the program. I just sounded like my grandma. What was the name of that program with the dating, the game show killer? What was the name of that program? God, I turned 85 years old in a split second. Yeah, that was, and it was an interesting documentary because I haven't read up too much on that. So I watched that documentary. It was interesting. Gem City says, no, it was scary, but entertaining. Ed Gein in Wisconsin was creepy. Yeah, not too far from here. Maybe an hour north? Maybe less than an hour. Gem City says, yeah, the Boston Marathon. That was a crazy. I can remember that night when that went down. I was listening to the scanner. I don't know if it was on my phone. What year was because I didn't have a smartphone until like 2012. So I don't know if it was on my phone or if it was on like a website, but I was listening to the Boston police scanner traffic during the Boston Marathon hunt for those killers. Unicorn says H.H. Holmes and his House of Horrors in Chicago is interesting. Have you, and I say tried because I've tried to read it. Is it called Devil in the White City? Which is the story of H.H. Holmes. I tried to read it. I got like 100 pages in, and it's 400 or 500 page book. I think I still have it somewhere. I tried to read it. Oh my God. It's a slow, and I'm not a slow read type of guy. Like I need some action in the books I read. So I haven't read too much on him, with the exception of the first 100 pages, maybe 75 pages of that book. And I just couldn't get my way through it. If there was a movie about, like a modern movie, I'm sure there was a movie made about that, but if there was like a more modernish documentary or movie, I would be interested. Dat Dude from Duryea says the dating game killer looked crazy on that episode. Yeah, he did a little bit, but still, it's like, man, such a weird story. Max says the Ace Hardware that Geen worked and the house where his skin lamps were in is about 20 minutes from where I sit. So, okay, so it's further north than I thought then. So what is it from Madison? Hour and a half? Rich says he won the date, but the girl had a bad feeling and did not want to go out with him. Ed Kemper is a weird case. Ed Kemper is a very, from a psychological standpoint, because he was portrayed in, if you watched Mindhunter, he's kind of like one of the main characters, not characters, but portrayal in that. He's super intelligent and super friendly, but also a serial killer. And what did he kill? His parents or grandma, and young college girls or something. And just very bizarre. Fascinating psychologically. Andrew Cunanan was interesting. Killed Versace and one other person, but was on the news often during his run. Only 2, so not a serial. I thought Cunanan killed 4 people, because he killed, was it his roommate in Minnesota? And then I thought he killed somebody in Chicago on his way to Miami. Son of Sam, David Berkowitz, summer of 77. Son of Sam is an interesting case. I did one of my high school term papers on serial killers. My teachers it's probably in my permanent record at Anawan High School. Keep an eye. This kid did his research paper on serial killers. Keep an eye out on this guy. Max says, I forget the name, but the Mexican guy out in LA was interesting too. The Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez. You know who, fascinating for me, this is also a local touch. So, what the hell? The railroad killer. Resendez Ramirez. He killed 8 to 10 people, and he rode the rails all across the country. And so my town, and I was in high school when Resendez Ramirez was, killing people. And we lived right on the railroad tracks. And so I had my friend Seth. So, my house was literally on the railroad tracks. I should have been more, cognizant, maybe. I was 17. I didn't give a fuck. What are the chances? But I mean, it had everybody within a mile of railroad tracks all across the country, fearing Resendez Ramirez was going to hop off and chop them up. I thought it was cool. Not cool, but I thought it was very interesting. My friend Seth lived on the other side of the tracks and was scared to death that Resendez Ramirez was going to chop his family up. But that was interesting, that case. And he finally got caught. I don't know if he was killed in prison or had a heart attack, but I think he ended up dying at some point in prison. Gem City says Quincy had a resident on Family Feud that later murdered his wife. Very sad stuff. Yeah, that was recent. That was very recent. And I think there was a show, I don't know, 48 Hours or Dateline did a show on that. That was within the last couple of years, I think. Quincy also had, was it The Doctor? I don't know if he was a serial killer, but he did some murdering. Rich says in New York and part of a wild summer that year. Oh, I bet the summer of 7. Wasn't that heat wave? Because the Summer of Sam, Summer of Sam was the movie. Summer of Sam, the movie that came out in the 90s, had a close tie. The Yankees won the World Series that year. There were there blackouts? Was it heat? Was it a intense heat wave during that summer of 77? Called some blackouts. Unicorn Cupcake says not a weird case or a weird dude after he was in jail. Gem City says the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez. Dan says, boy, we just went off the rails today, like Resendez Ramirez. Dan says, because of the proximity, Gacy is what I know the most about. Yeah, and that's a case that's just. And I think the aspect that interests me, it's either geography or it's the psychology. Like this guy, John Wayne Gacy, was a member of like the JCs. He played a clown at birthday parties for kids, and then he was this sadistic, brutal serial killer. I just don't, and none of us understand it because we're not wired like a serial killer. So we don't understand it. And I think that's why I like the term fascinating, because it is, because we don't understand. I don't understand the mind of a serial killer. Like what makes this clown at a kid's birthday party, this JC's member, he was like an owner of Kentucky Fried Chicken chain in like Cedar Rapids, Iowa, before he moved to Chicago or moved back to Chicago. Family man. He had like a wife and 2 kids, but yet he had this other side to him, literally a Jekyll and Hyde. Rich says a day or so after the Boston Marathon, we had the scary oil refinery explosion in Texas. Max says, yes, Gem. Rich says, and on Friday, some drunk guy took a piece of my car's front end off and got caught about a half mile away by the police. Get him. H.H. Holmes dies in Philadelphia. I called it. You just spoiled the ending. God. Rich says, nothing like 5 police cars at your house at 4 a.m. Was Chris Hansen there as well? No, John, sorry, just the police. No, Chris Hansen. Ed Kemper has audiobooks. Well, his voice is at least interesting. Interesting. Max says it's actually south of me, right off the interstate in Plainfield. Get pretty close to there, getting to the interstate to come to Madison. That dude says locally we had a serial killer that only killed drug dealers and buried them in his yard. So he was kind of like a Dexter. There was a serial killer in Peoria, Illinois. This was also when I was working in radio, and he only killed prostitutes, and he burned them in his like mom's garbage or burn barrel. Larry something was his name. It was I think he was known to kill like 10, maybe 12. I can't remember. John says college girls are just wasting money. They will end up barefoot and pregnant eventually. Also, Cunanan killed someone in South Jersey for a pickup truck. Philly Joe says, I must live in a bubble. Have no idea any of these people except the son of Sam. Gem City says, John is now turned into Brian Gray, LOL. Chris says, Zodiac is a great movie. The Zodiac Killer, another fascinating. They think multiple people think they know who it is. I think there's like multiple potential suspects for the Zodiac Killer. But that's another fascinating one. Gem City says, Dennis the Menace tried to teach us about the stranger danger. John says, the U.S. healthcare dude was also a serial killer. Freem Luigi. Bo, you're right, but he actually killed 5. Angelo Bono, the Hillside Strangler. GNC, what's up? That's one that I haven't read too much on, the Hillside Strangler. Gary Heidnick mentioned, just so Philly Joe recognizes a name. LRS. LRS, the skill game killer. I like it. Murder. Uncle Rich says, is that the one who was on Family Feud and basically pre-staged that he would kill her? I think so. Jody says, you probably know the names of more serial killers than Cub players. It seems like it, right? It seems like it. Rich Klein says, summer of 77 had the Bronx burning. Gem City says 48 hours. Yes, we had Dr. Swango. He is the original Dr. Death. His death toll in Africa is not known. It's so many. Holy shit. Dan says, I also took a keen interest in the Green River Killer, Gary Ridgway. There you go. Another name drop for Philly Joe. South of Seattle, as well as the BTK, Dennis Rader in Kansas, who the snippet scenes in Mindhunter were about. Yes. I was interested to I was hoping that Mindhunter would go on to a season 3 just to see if they would, go in further on BTK. Mindhunter. I don't know. See, I love the psychology behind it. So I do. Dr. Ann Burgess she was the inspiration for the character on Mindhunter. She was one of the original female Mindhunters, essentially. And she's on YouTube quite frequently talking. Very, very interesting. If you're into the psychology part of it, Ann Burgess, Catherine Ramsland. I'm not as big of a fan with Catherine Ramsland. She wrote a book on BTK. Dr. Gary Bricado is fascinating with his knowledge on this stuff too. Blackout in New York City, which led to rioting. Son of Sam. You probably know the names of more serial killers. We're still going. Disco. Disco was so huge in New York that it helped change the culture. Gem City says the double life. Casey also used Car Dealer Pro. Gem City laughs. Rich says there was just one in New York who killed people and buried them at the beach. Yes. Rex Hewerman. Which that's the Long Island serial killer. Which that trial should be coming up. I think he's going to be on trial for like 4 of the murders, I think, but his numbers are probably going to be pretty extensive. That one is fairly recent. Leisure Suit Larry. Let's see. Dan says Larry Dean Bright, also known as the Bone Crusher. It's an American serial killer responsible for the deaths of at least 8 women between the ages of 30 and 41 in central Illinois. Yeah. Rich says this is almost as good as Cooking with Bo. Serial killers. Hillside Strangler was 2 people. Are Bonnie and Clyde considered serial killers? I'm not sure what Bonnie and Clyde are classified as. Let's look it up. Let's chat GPT it. Where we need a new chat. Are Bonnie and Clyde considered serial killers? Let's see what ChatGPT. No, they are not considered serial killers. Bonnie and Clyde are classified as criminal outlaws, bank robbers, and spree killers. Okay, so they would fall in the category as a spree killer. Serial killers are defined as people who kill 3 or more victims over time with cooling off periods between murders. And then a spree killer are people that commit multiple murders in a short period of time without much of a break between crimes. So spree killers for Bonnie and Clyde. That dude from Duryea says, Unicorn, I have a Leisure Suit Larry t-shirt. Reads, Ken sent me. Great game franchise. LRS, the bus stop killer. Unicorn says, I never played the game. Had a friend that told me about it, though. Chris says, Bo gets serial killer push notifications, apparently. They are considered bank robbers. Bank robbers and spree killers. All right. That's what I had for today. So serial killers are more level-headed, right? Yeah, they cool off. They're not as crazy as those spree killers. All right. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Hey, maybe we could do in this Friday, instead of name that player, name that serial killer. Who can win that game? All right, like and subscribe. No eBay Live today, but I'll be back tomorrow on eBay Live. I'm not sure what time, but you'll find out tomorrow morning on Hobby Evolution. We'll do this again tomorrow morning. See you then.